For centuries, the galaxy mocked humanity. On the floors of the Galactic Council, Earth's representatives were tolerated at best, ridiculed at worst. To the great empires, humanity was nothing more than a stubborn backwater species that had clawed its way into the stars too late, too slowly, and with too much noise. Their fleets were small. Their worlds were few. Their technology was considered laughably crude. But humanity remembered. They remembered the first war, the one that no other species ever spoke of. The Valari Purge, a campaign that nearly drove humanity into extinction. No one had come to their aid then. No council fleet arrived to defend their skies. Humanity bled alone, and when the Valari were finally defeated, Earth's surface was scarred with glassed continents and oceans poisoned for generations. From that day onward, humanity smiled in public, but prepared in silence. The galaxy never noticed the silence between the stars, the way Earth's colonies spread in directions no one bothered to map. They never saw the great shipyards hidden in the shadows of dead suns, or the black steel leviathans that stirred to life far beyond. Charted space, the shadow fleet humanity called it. Ships not meant for patrols or diplomacy, but for one purpose alone: survival. The moment came at last. A coalition of empires, tired of humanity's growing trade, jealous of Earth's resource-rich colonies, moved to crush the humans once and for all. They assembled an armada unlike any in living memory, 5,000 warships with banners of a dozen species surging toward Sol. In the council chamber, humanity was ordered to surrender. The human ambassador, an old man with silver hair, his uniform unadorned, stood slowly, his voice calm. Once, when humanity was weak, we begged for help, he said. None came. You left us to burn. So we learned, we endured, and we built. If you come for us now, know this: you will not return. Laughter filled the chamber. The words of a desperate species, they thought. What could Earth possibly unleash against a fleet so vast? The first clash came at the edges of Sul. The coalition fleet advanced confidently, their war drums echoing through the void. Humanity's official navy, the one the galaxy knew, met them with only a few hundred ships, a pitiful sight against thousands. The battle was expected to last hours. It lasted minutes. The human fleet fell back, retreating in perfect order, luring the enemy deeper, deeper still. And then space itself trembled. They came from the darkness. Black vessels the size of cities, their hulls coated with adaptive plating that drank in starlight, as if shadows themselves had taken form. Their designs were alien, terrifying, almost predatory, yet undeniably human. Some dwarfed moons bristling with weapons that hummed with energies the galaxy had no name for. The Shadow Fleet had awakened. The coalition fired first. Plasma storms, kinetic barrages, missile swarms, an ocean of destruction hurled toward the human leviathans. Yet the Shadow Fleet did not falter. Their shields bent light, their countermeasures shredded incoming waves. Then they answered. One shot, just one, from the lead vessel cut an enemy dreadnought in half, its remains glowing white-hot as they tumbled into the void. Another human ship unleashed a cascade of drones, black spears that tore through cruisers as if slicing paper. In less than an hour, half the coalition fleet was gone. Panic rippled through their ranks. Some tried to flee. They found their paths blocked by more human warships, emerging from stealth fields that swallowed entire star systems. It was not a battle. It was an execution. News spread like wildfire across the galaxy. Holofeeds carried the images. Alien fleets shattered in silence, human ships looming like nightmares beyond reason. Civilizations that had laughed at Earth now trembled. The galaxy's greatest powers realized the truth. Humanity had been preparing, not for dominance, but for survival so absolute that no empire could hope to match it. Within days, envoys flooded. Earth the proud Thalari Dominion sent offerings of tribute. The Keth Syndicate, once humanity's greatest rival in trade, swore eternal neutrality. Even the distant Eshani theocracy sent their priests, begging forgiveness for centuries of scorn. In the council chamber, silence reigned as one by one, civilizations bent the knee. Not to humanity's diplomacy, not to their culture, but to the sheer terror of what they had seen. "Spare us," the Thalari speaker whispered. "Do not unleash your shadows upon us." The human ambassador regarded them with cold eyes. For centuries, humanity had been forced to beg. Now, the galaxy begged them. But humanity did not roar in triumph. The Shadow Fleet did not march upon alien worlds. They did not demand tribute or territory. Instead, they vanished once more into the dark, returning to their silent vigil among the stars. And that, perhaps, was the most terrifying truth of all. The galaxy realized that humanity had not revealed its entire hand, only enough to make a point. If this was merely a glimpse, then what more lay hidden in the abyss? Fear became legend. Legend became worship. Civilizations adjusted their policies overnight, ensuring no harm would ever come to Earth again. Trade flowed freely. Borders opened. Treaties were signed in trembling hands. And in the dark places of the galaxy, where whispers carried further than light, one truth echoed endlessly. Humanity had endured the fire alone. And now, if pushed too far, humanity would become the fire itself. The Shadow Fleet returned to silence, their massive forms drifting beyond the rim. No one knew where they slept, or how many more lay waiting. Only Earth knew, and in the council halls, no one laughed at humanity ever again, because once humanity had begged. Now, the galaxy begged them forever. Long ago, the galaxy judged humanity. The Council of Civilizations, the ruling body of 1,000 worlds, had declared Earth dangerous. Humanity's ambition was called reckless. Their wars, proof of barbarity. Their curiosity, too unrestrained, too unpredictable, and so the verdict was given. Exile. Earth's envoys were cast out of the council chambers. Human colonies were stripped from trade routes, abandoned by allies, surrounded by enemies. For centuries, the galaxy turned its back on the upstart species. Some empires even hoped humanity would simply wither and vanish. But humanity did not wither. They vanished willingly. They withdrew beyond mapped space, beyond the reach of galactic eyes. The galaxy celebrated their absence. None wondered what became of them. None asked what they were building in the silence, and in that silence, humanity prepared. Millennia passed. Civilizations rose and fell. The council grew fat and complacent, believing itself eternal. Their fleets expanded, their empires flourished, but always under the assumption that the humans had been erased from history, until the day the sky split open. It began at Vera Prime, a fortress world at the edge of council space. Sensors detected anomalies. Shadows moving at impossible speed across the void. Before the garrison fleet could react, black ships appeared. Not dozens, not hundreds, thousands. They were like nothing seen before. Colossal vessels, some spanning hundreds of kilometers, drifted into formation. Their hulls were dark and angular, absorbing light as though the stars themselves bent around them. Energy. Signatures crackled in unreadable spectrums. Weapons bristled across their flanks, systems so advanced that council scientists later admitted they could not even guess at their function. The humans had returned. At first, the council refused to believe it. The official narrative was simple. These are not humans. They cannot be. But then came the broadcasts. On every world, every screen, every comm relay, a human face appeared. An admiral, his features weathered, his uniform simple yet commanding, looked directly into the galaxy's heart. "We were exiled," he said, voice calm, steady. "You called us dangerous. You cast us aside. You wished us gone. And so we left. But we did not die. We endured. We grew. And while you bickered and decayed, we forged a strength none of you can match." Behind him, the colossal silhouettes of humanity's fleet loomed like gods of war. This galaxy belongs to all who dwell within it. But make no mistake, humanity bows to none. Stand against us, and you will not stand long. The transmission ended. Silence followed, and then panic. The Council dispatched fleets to Vera Prime. Hundreds of ships, the pride of their armadas, surged forward to challenge humanity's reappearance. The battle was swift. Human weapons tore through them as if they were children's toys. Dreadnoughts disintegrated under beams that lanced across light years. Carriers collapsed into singularities, pulled apart by gravity weapons that obeyed no known science. Swarms of autonomous drones sliced through escorts, their programming flawless, their speed unstoppable. The Council forces never stood a chance. Within hours, the largest fleet the galaxy had assembled in 1,000 years was nothing but wreckage. Humanity's losses? Zero. The shock was absolute. Worlds trembled. Civilizations that once mocked humanity now realized a truth too late. Exile had not broken Earth. It had made them stronger than any power the galaxy had ever known, and so began. The begging envoys poured into human space. The proud Zarathi emperors sent jewels, artifacts, entire treasure fleets. The San Confederacy offered their wormhole gates as gifts. Even the Drakari hegemony, whose ancestors had once voted for humanity's exile, sent their rulers crawling, on their knees. "Spare us," they pleaded. "We will not oppose you, only grant us mercy." For the first time in history, the galaxy united in one voice, not against humanity, but beneath it. Inside humanity's council chambers, debate raged. Some demanded vengeance. Why not strike down those who abandoned Earth in her hour of need? Why not burn the council to ash, as humanity had once been left to burn alone? Others argued for restraint. Mercy, they said, was the greater power. To dominate through fear alone would invite endless rebellion. But if humanity showed strength and restraint, the galaxy would follow not only out of fear, but respect. The decision fell to the admirals of the Hidden Fleet. In the end, humanity chose neither conquest nor retreat. They revealed only a fraction of their armada, enough to humble, enough to terrify, but not their full might. The rest remained hidden, their numbers unknown, their strength unmeasured. The galaxy would never know how many more ships lay dormant in the void, and this uncertainty became humanity's greatest weapon. The council chambers were silent when humanity returned. No laughter greeted their entrance, no scorn touched their names. Entire delegations rose to their feet, bowing, trembling. The human ambassador spoke only a few words. "Never again will humanity kneel. Remember that. And we may yet walk together. No one dared oppose." From that day forward, the galaxy changed. Borders opened to human traders. Human science became the most sought after. Their scholars invited to every academy, their engineers begged to share even fragments of their genius. Human fleets patrolled the edges of known space, not as conquerors, but as guardians. No pirate dared strike, no empire dared invade, not while the shadow of the Hidden Fleet lingered, and still the question haunted every mind, if what they had seen was only part of humanity's strength. What horrors lay waiting, hidden in the dark? In the end, fear gave way to reverence. Civilizations that had once mocked humanity now whispered their name with awe. They remembered the day the exiles returned, the day the Hidden Fleet revealed itself. the day the galaxy begged not for victory, but for mercy. And in the silence beyond the stars, where Earth's black ships drifted like watchers in the void, one truth was eternal. Humanity had been cast out. Humanity had returned, and humanity would never be ignored again. The Galactic Alliance had ruled for 10,000 years. Its member species spanned 1,000 suns, its fleets vast, its authority unchallenged. No warlord or empire dared oppose its will. To the Alliance, the galaxy was orderly, secure, eternal, and, in that order, humanity was irrelevant. Earth was tolerated at the edge of the Council, useful as miners, traders, sometimes soldiers, but never respected. The great powers laughed at humanity's crude ships and short history, but they also feared something subtle: humanity's stubbornness, their refusal to yield, their survival against odds that should have crushed them. The Alliance chose to act. They declared humanity a strategic threat, not because of what humans were, but what they might become. And so, fleets were dispatched to seize Earth's resources, strip its colonies, and finally break humanity's will. It was a mistake that shattered the galaxy. The Alliance fleet arrived in Sol in perfect formation, 10,000 ships, gleaming with the power of a united galaxy. Their commanders expected surrender. Instead, they were met by a silence that chilled even the most arrogant admiral. Earth's defense fleet was small, barely 1,000 vessels, old designs, outnumbered, outgunned. The Alliance commanders laughed. It would be over in hours. But then, the human admiral spoke. His message was transmitted openly across every frequency, his voice steady, his eyes cold. You believe you hold the power of the galaxy. You believe humanity stands alone, weak, ready to kneel. For centuries, we allowed you to believe this, but today, you learned the truth. He raised a hand, a signal, and space tore open. They emerged from the dark like leviathans unchained. First, dozens, then hundreds, then thousands. A fleet so vast it made the Alliance Armada look like an escort patrol. Colossal ships, each a fortress. Vessels the size of moons, bristling with weapons the galaxy had never seen. Hulls black as the void, edges glowing faintly with energies that distorted light itself. The hidden fleet. For centuries, humanity had been dismissed, ignored, underestimated. They had used that arrogance as their shield. While the galaxy laughed, humanity built. While the Alliance bickered, humanity prepared. In silence, in exile, in the forgotten corners of space, they had forged a fleet meant not to defend worlds, but to decide the fate of civilizations. The Alliance fleet panicked. Orders clashed. Admirals shouted. Some commanded to fire. Others demanded retreat. Then the sky erupted. Human weapons sang, a soundless fury across the stars. Energy lances cut through dreadnoughts like knives through silk. Gravitic warheads collapsed entire. Squadrons into singularities. Swarms of autonomous drones tore through escorts, each moving with deadly precision. The Alliance's vaunted fleet disintegrated in minutes. 1,000 ships gone, then 2, then 5. By the hour's end, the void was filled with wreckage, burning silently against the black. The Alliance's greatest force in millennia had been annihilated. Humanity had not lost a single vessel. The news spread faster than light. On every world, whispers turned to screams. The images were undeniable. The hidden fleet had crushed the Alliance without effort. Humanity, once mocked, once scorned, had revealed a strength that dwarfed the combined might of the galaxy. Civilizations trembled. Empires panicked. Governments convened in desperation. And then came the begging. The proud Vorkai hierarchy, who once called humanity an infestation, sent envoys crawling to Earth, offering servitude. The Sithar Dominion, rulers of 100 worlds, abandoned their borders and declared neutrality. Even the Alliance Council itself, the very body that had ordered humanity's subjugation, fell to its knees. "Spare us," they whispered. "Spare us, for we did not know." But deep down, every leader knew the truth. They had known. They had known humanity was dangerous, not because of what they were, but because of what they might become. And now, that future had arrived. Inside humanity's command halls, the debate raged. Some voices called for vengeance. The Alliance had tried to enslave Earth, strip its colonies, break its people. Now was the time to repay that cruelty in kind. Others urged caution. Mercy would bind the galaxy in gratitude, or at least in uneasy respect. To rule by fear alone would ensure rebellion, but to show mercy from a position of absolute power, that would make humanity untouchable. The final word came from the admiral who had given the signal. He stood before the council chambers of the galaxy, a single human in a hall of 1,000 trembling leaders. "You came to take our worlds," he said, his voice echoing through the chamber. "You came to take our freedom. You believed us weak. Today you have seen the truth. Humanity kneels to none." He paused, letting the silence suffocate the room. "We will not burn your worlds. We will not enslave your people. We need no thrones, no crowns, no empires. But know this, strike at us again, and there will be nothing left to beg for." No one dared to speak. And so, humanity chose restraint. The hidden fleet withdrew, vanishing once more into the void. But its shadow lingered across every star. Civilizations bent their policies, their laws, their very lives around one simple truth: do not provoke Earth. Trade routes opened. Treaties were signed in trembling hands. Human envoys were welcomed into halls where once they had been mocked. Humanity had not demanded submission, yet submission came freely, born of terror and awe. But beneath the peace lay a deeper fear. The galaxy had seen only part of the hidden fleet. No one knew how many ships remained, how many weapons still slept in the dark. Was it 10,000? 100,000? More? Humanity never said. That silence was humanity's greatest weapon. And in that silence, the galaxy reshaped itself. Civilizations that once ruled with arrogance now measured every word when speaking. To Earth, the Alliance fractured, its authority broken beyond repair. The new balance of power was clear. Humanity was no longer ignored. Humanity was the power against which all others would measure themselves. In the end, the galaxy remembered not the battles, nor the wreckage, nor the diplomacy. They remembered the moment the hidden fleet emerged, the moment humanity revealed its truth, and the moment the galaxy begged, not for victory, not for alliance, but for mercy.